turn up the bass and make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. Skrillex ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday.
Mash up the place.
And make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will
What
is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Blackfire Technical Analysis YouTube channel. I am your host, Crypto Bro, and yes, that is right, that is correct, that is accurate. We are back at it again with another edition of the daily live stream. If you haven't already noticed, my internet continues to continuously kill my vibe. Was playing a little bit of Skrillex back in the intro video, and it just decided to stop and buffer, and you might have heard the music a couple times, stop and buffer. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. I continuously have issues with my internet. I don't know what the fuck to do about that. It is what it is. So if you guys are experiencing any technical difficulties from my side, I do apologize. I hope we don't get cut out of the stream early like we did last week. But it is what it is. No request. I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. We have plenty to talk about. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to hop right into this bad boy. Take a look at Mr. NASDAQ here. Looking at a little bit of a top, another top to the downside for NASDAQ. I would be expecting a move, a push towards tentative support here at 14,615, and look at that. Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you believe it? It is right aligned with the 21 exponential moving average, so I would consider this a major support. Now, there are a couple of things that we have to consider. Yes, we do have higher highs, but in the structure, we do not have higher highs. In the overall structure, we are still technically in a downtrending formation from top to bottom. This region here could most certainly provide evidence as a structural lower high in a ceiling of resistance to the downside overall. Again, I'm not saying that that's the case here. Anything can happen at any given time, but for NASDAQ, the way I'm looking at it right now is we are hitting a very clearly well-defined ceiling of resistance in a downtrending fashion here, while momentum oscillators are starting to curl over, and now we likely look to push a little bit of pressure on that 21 exponential. You have to consider the possibility that this is just another structural top in a long-term trending bear market. Again, we did come off of this very significant, very sharp downtrend below the 21 exponential, confirmed structural lower lows. It would not be out of the question to see this as a little bit of a bull trap or a fake out rally before eventually getting sunk in too deep and potentially taking some losses if and when this thing decides to say nope, fuck you. It's a lower high, structural top confirmed, major swing top confirmed in a downtrending structure. Let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the floor, right? So, that is something to be in major consideration of here, just because, again, the way the structure looks, you have to take the evidence, right? You have to take the subjective evidence and basically tell yourself, is this real? Is it really going to continue to the upside, or are we just looking at a potentially false rally, bull trap, whatever you want to call it? But the way that I see it right now, we just confirmed two resisting tops on the diagonal trend line of resistance to the downside. We likely see moves all the way to the 21 exponential. Any open and closure below that 21 exponential likely confirms that sentiment for me. I would be looking at this as a structural top until proven otherwise. Now, that proof otherwise definitely could be, all right, we see a little bit of a retracement below the 21 all the way down to 14,250. Confirms some type of structural high or low in this potential uptrending formation. And then we see continuation onwards and upwards towards 15,650. But again, as far as this structure is concerned, this did not confirm an uptrend for me. For others, maybe. Well, actually, it didn't confirm at all. This would have confirmed the uptrend here, but we got a lower high. Now, I know on SPY Futures, this region here between the 22nd and 23rd of March confirmed as a higher low. And again, sometimes my RSI doesn't get it perfectly right every single time. Again, you have to be aware of what a major top or what a major bottom is for a trending formation here. And the way that I look at this, we have no uptrend confirmation barring this little low right here that could potentially serve as the higher low in the structure, but as long as we remain below that diagonal trending structure to the downside, this resistance line to the downside, I am a little bit more skeptical. RSI over here popping off a little bit of a lower high, breaking below the exponential and confirming the lower lows. Not significantly, but enough is enough in my opinion. And now we're starting to see a little bit of loss of momentum here to the downside. Stochastics has been crossed over for quite some time, but still remains in bullish critical territory, but it is facing sharply to the downside. So I would be expecting a breach back into the bullish control zone, maybe a little bit further, again, unless proven otherwise. That proof otherwise right now, again, would be a breach of the diagonal trendline resistance, but we'll go with horizontal here. Breaching and confirming support at 15,075 would be a fucking hell of a start. Or we could just see this open into some sideways consolidation for quite some time. That would also be an acceptable disposition here. But the way that I'm looking at it here, the most important thing, again, this is my perspective. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'll never tell you what to do with your trades or investments because I am not certified to do so. But from my perspective, I would be looking at this 21 exponential very closely, and I would be looking at the diagonal trend line of resistance very closely as well. An open and closure followed by continuation below the 21 and maybe even below 14,050 here would be convincing enough for me that we are likely looking at a structural lower high and a long-term downtrending formation. I wonder what the weekly time frame here looks like. Yeah, and even on the weekly time frame, if we top out here on the weekly time frame, we'll just have another structural lower high on a much significantly higher time frame. And again, higher time frames carry more weight than lower term time frames. So when I'm looking at the weekly time frame, if we confirm a top here and see continuation down, that's going to put a lot more weight on this price action momentum here than the fuck daily, and that's going to tell me basically the same affirmation here is that we likely don't see continuation to the upside. Likely, we rather see a bear market continue formulating. Again, this could easily be a relief rally after a capitulating dump to the downside, bounces up, nice relief rally. Again, it does look real nice on the daily time frame because, again, it has been tradable, it has been profitable, but that does not mean that we are going to formulate a long-term bullish uptrend out of this, potential pity rally. But again, I could be wrong. Look at that ceiling of resistance. If it breaches, same fucking story here, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially looking for a structural lower high. Again, it is at a slightly lessened angle, but the disposition remains the same. We could be looking at a little bit of a relief rally after a downtrending formation. But again, you have to look at the structure as a whole, right? You have to look for the major tops and major bottoms. This is our all-time high top. This is our major bottom. If we get a lower major top here, it is very likely we also see another major lower low formulate out of this as the downtrend potentially opens up. Again, I could be wrong. There's absolutely nothing stopping me from being wrong. I'm just outlining the perspective of the potential downtrend market being long-term here. Again, yes, everyone's going to say, well, Brian, we're above the 21 exponential. Yes, that sentiment remains. That goes without question here. We're above the 21, and as long as we're above the 21, I will be forced to look for positive price action. But again, given the evidence that I'm being presented with here, does not necessarily mean I agree that the 21 is going to hold for very much longer. Rather, we are likely, again, to see pressure building up on the 21 and its corresponding support level at 44.70 here. Any open and closure below there likely gives you an answer, and I would be looking for pushes towards 43.70. Now, again, the potential to confirm a higher low, the structural, a confident structural higher low above the last macro low would convince me of continuation to new highs, but again, look at the formation. Look at the formation. We have touch points to the downside, touch points to the downside. This could easily serve as a structural line for a downtrending market. Whoops. Again, same principles, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I would be convinced of continuation with any kind of closure above 45.80 towards the next resistance here at 47.11. But again, diagonal trend line of resistance We topped out here, put a little bit of a low, hit resistance, got rejected, put in another top. That's just spelling continuation to or below the 21 exponential, in my opinion. RSI looking very similar to NASDAQ's here. A cross breach below the exponential. Exponential is slightly negative here, and we do have a little bit of a lower high below the last high here. Again, from an RSI perspective, again, it would not be out of the question here. It would be out of the question to see complete capitulation and a longer-term bear market open up as a result here for SPY futures. Now here is the discerning factor. Targets have been met. Targets have been met. Targets have been met on the U.S. dollar index, consolidating for about almost a month here. Basing out, I actually readjusted my horizontal support and resistance lines. A couple of these wicks are verified here. Some might argue, oh, it's a lower low, Brian, it's a lower low. Realistically, it's a higher low. This is still a higher low, right? Look at these prior lows here in the consolidation as inconsequential. Compare this low here to the previous structural lows, which are about right here. Between February and March, writing this diagonal golden trend line of peace and prosperity, and look at that confirmation back above the 21 exponential. Boom! Price action moves, breaches resistance, confirms above resistance, or looking to confirm above resistance, and at the same time achieving new highs. This is likely the reason that we see a decline in the rest of the market here. Again, pity rallies are usually the results of consolidating phases in an uptrending bull market for the US dollar index, right? We saw consolidation here, and as a result of this consolidation here, we saw a little bit of a relief rally in the rest of the market, and people get excited. People are like, oh shit, we're going back to bulls. We're going back to bulls. There is no subjective evidence. Let me repeat that. There is no subjective evidence that supports the fact that the general stock market is going to return to a long-term macro bullish structure until we see the structure flip to new all-time highs. It's that simple. And while we're seeing the US dollar index go boom, 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 and continue to exponentially destroy the market here, I am very convinced that the rest of the cryptocurrency market and a general stock market will likely get punished as a result. And look at that trend. Look at that trend line, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that fucking juicy fucking trend line. Look at that juicy trend line. Look at how delicious that trend line is. Oh, it's so perfect. Oh, it's so good. Now, with this price action on our minds right now, again, US dollar index, I am going to be looking for pushes all the way up here, actually, to 100.75 if we do see a confirmation today above tentative resistance, confirming it as new tentative support. Any closure above 99.25 today will lead me to believe that continuation to this resistance here, again, at about $100.75 is likely the next valid target. We do see still RSI breaching that diagonal trend line. Again, we did see a little bit of a dip below, but guess what? We have a nice support confirmed on the 50 read here, which still classifies this as an uptrend diagonal trend line here. And look at that, breach above the exponential. Exponential's back to a positive slope, and we're looking for RSI to potentially look for new heights today. Again, I would say with a candle closure above that new tentative possible support today, likely ticks RSI to new higher highs, and that just adds confidence to the move up again towards $100. The only thing at this point that would convince me otherwise would be an open and closure back below the 21 exponential and follow through below the consolidation lows at 97.80. That would convince me that this trend likely becomes threatened here to the downside, as we would have a change of behavior, in my opinion, below 97.85, and then we can start talking about looking for retests of the diagonal trend line of peace and prosperity. But until then, stochastics absolutely supporting the 50 read, not once, not twice, and boom, going back into the bullish control zone. Confirmed in the bullish control zone, the bulls have power in the US dollar index here. So while the US dollar index is going up, I'm going to be looking for the rest of the stock market and cryptocurrency market to potentially get punished. And that makes me think here, AMC absolutely also possible, looking at a structural lower high. Oh my God, you can't make that shit up. You really can't make that shit up here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I get the hype on AMC. I really do. I get the hype at AMC, but the next motherfucking person I hear saying that AMC is going to $1,000, I'm going to throw punch them. Because it's just not realistic, ladies and gentlemen. It's not realistic. The individuals that identify nothing in the trending formation and then just assume that a stock is going to make them filthy rich overnight is a fucking idiot and deserves to lose money. Someone like me who actually conducts and applies my own research and due diligence to my technical analysis in the disposition to earn a generous amount of profits, I look at this and I say, nice big boom above the 21 exponential. As soon as we saw that 44% gainer in one day, what the fuck did I say? What did I say? I said we likely see pullbacks. We likely hit a ceiling of resistance and see pullbacks. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I can't make this up. You cannot make this up. And I don't like tooting my own horn, but every now and again, I'm fucking gonna, just to prove a point here. Give me 1 second. Had to take a sip of my Gila juice. And look at that. Boom. Could potentially serve as, again, same thing as NASDAQ, SPY futures, as another structural lower high in the midst of continuation to new lows. Again, it is very possible. Or we see, the 21 exponential hit support. We hold support on the 21 exponential and bounce to new heights. If we do get a higher low on the 21 exponential, I would look for another retest of tentative resistance here at $30.40. But until proven otherwise, we're applying a lot of pressure on that 21 right now, and I am going to be looking for the 21 to potentially break. If we do see an open and closure below the 21, I'm going to be looking for this region here at 17.85 as the next target, and likely much lower. Again, especially if the US dollar index continues to thrive and incline, I'm going to be looking for everything else to rapidly decline. Hall of Fame Village, nothing fucking special there. Nice little bit of a relief rally above the 21 exponential. Again, yes, a profitable move indeed. But what did I say? Look at this diagonal trend line of tentative resistance. Like, it goes all the way down. We have plenty of touch points here to validate it. Anybody that says that this isn't validated might, again, want to seek professional help and get educated. Plenty of touch points. And look at this. We barely touch it right here. Not convincing. Ladies and gentlemen, not convincing. Yes, we did have a move above the 21 exponential moving average, but this is not enough to say, hey, we are going to enter a long-term bull market. Nigh. I say nigh. And now we see consolidation, ceiling of resistance hit once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And now we're seeing a structural fail on that resistance. 7.75% decrease on the day, breaches below the 21 exponential. I would look for this support to potentially pop price action back up towards $1.17, but I am not going to be looking for the 21 to hold here. I'm actually going to be looking for it to potentially break any open and closure below the 21 exponential, and I'm going to immediately be looking for a pull into the 91-cent support level here and possibly lower, just because, again, the downtrending structure here. Yes, Brian says it's a downtrend, but you say, oh, but Brian, we had a change of behavior right here. We had a warning shot for anybody that's interested. We had a warning shot, change of behavior, with this doji style candlestick right here. But we did not close above the open of this candle, which is at $1.19. And since that condition was met, we cannot accurately depict a change of behavior, especially without confirmation above this support. And not only that, but we breached the support, closed above the support, and immediately fell below the support, which basically tells you that it was never confirmed as support to begin with. So with that sentiment, basically written in stone and in concrete, we have not seen an objective change of behavior that would convince me of this price action continuing to the north side. So down. I'm looking down. We do see our RSI failing to hold the 50 read. Boom, boom, boom. 3 tops, breaches the exponential. Very, very, very classic warning shot fired. Stochastics here breaching below the bottom side of the bullish control zone or the 65 read. Second warning shot fired. A secondary candle closure below the 21 coming into tomorrow will likely confirm a trade for a short entry on the Hall of Fame Village, and I will be looking for about 91 cents as the next target. Unfortunately, that's not what everybody wants to hear, but that's what everybody has to hear. We got one more for the night. Again, no requests. I do apologize. It is a shorter stream. But we're already on the last one here, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin currently consolidating right now, actually looking like it got hit the least. I think we got like a 3% drop off yesterday. No top call just yet, 2.5%. We're still holding above the 21 exponential. I would classify this as a little bit of a choppy consolidation right now. Very, very, very important to look at the following conditions here. We are seeing our support level here right in line with the 21 exponential here at 44,500. Any open and closure below there, I'm going to be looking for price action to pull back into the next support down at 40,865 and likely more. Again, as the US dollar index continues to increase, remain bullish, the more less confident I become on the rest of the stock market staying in any bullish formation. However, any open and closure above current resistance at 47,680, I would be looking for continuation to the next critical resistance at 50,850. And at that point, if we do see open and closures above 50,850, then I get a little bit excited for Bitcoin. Yes, not really confirming any kind of macro bull cycle continuation, but it would get me excited to leave my position where it is in hopes to look for the next take profit level somewhere around 56,000. Definitely possible for Bitcoin. But again, look at the dollar. Look at the dollar, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the dollar. Look at the dollar right now. It's going boom, boom, boom. Higher highs after higher lows after higher highs. And what do we see everywhere else? Bitcoin not putting in higher highs, not doing anything significant. NASDAQ looking like it wants to, put in a lower high in the formation. Same thing with SPY futures. It looks like it wants to put in a major lower high in the formation. Again, I could be wrong. And I could be a little bit biased on the current price action. But again, I did outline multiple scenarios for everything that I looked at, but my bias is, again, leaning more towards maybe this price action sees a major swing high that is confirmed as a lower high, a major lower high, and we see a long-term bear market formulate as a result in many markets, which, again, to be quite honest with you, excites the ever-loving shit out of me, because at the first piece of evidence that this is going to be a long-term downtrending market, I'm going to scoop a bunch of money to the side, and I'm going to start planning my entries, my long-term investment entries on a lot of assets at the lowest possible price point. Again, when we start, if and when we start seeing levels, confirm and bear market, like long-term bear markets confirm, then we can, pull out long-term exponential strategies and get a little bit deeper into the Fibonacci retracement perspective, which likely means we're going to start looking at the weekly time frame a little bit more. Again, the longer time frames hold precedence, hold more weight than the lower term time frames, and if this is going to confirm as an open, wide bear market for the long term, I'm going to be very, very, very interested in pinpointing very decisive entry points at the lowest possible prices in the future. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up the stream, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. It is a little bit more on the shorter side, and I was a little bit relaxed today, but it is what it is. Come check me out. I'm going to be on my PlayStation 5 here in the next 20 or so minutes. I will be streaming Elden Ring. I am on Journey 2 currently, just looking to dive deeper into the exploration of the game to see what it truly has. And that's it, you guys. That's going to be the stream for today. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we get some requests for the channel much sooner rather than later. And until next time, you know what it is.